I have been waiting for somebody to ask to make a solo video about Qingyu, because she's so interesting. Because effectively, the art to replicate what she is a forgotten art form, in the sense that the technology needed to replicate her is unknown, because she as a concept came to be before New Eridu. In that time between the Old Civilization and New Eridu, in that time period, she was created. But somewhere along the lines, the knowledge of how to make that technology or to replicate it has been forgotten. Now sure, they can update her parts and update everything needed to keep her still functioning in today's day and age, but they can't produce more, if that makes sense. I hate comparing her to this, but it's like being able to fix up a car, but not being able to make a whole new car. Like, if I don't know if that's a good comparison, but it makes sense in my mind, so I'm gonna say it like that. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think she was made before Bang Boo's, when her, like, model was made. Now, we don't know if she has any memories of that time, or if her, like, sentience as, like, her own being is a more recent thing. Because when they were probably being mass-produced back in the day, we don't know. Maybe they were mass-produced. Maybe they were only a couple. We don't know. But, again, this is a forgotten form of technology in the sense just like Billy is. Billy was made as, like, some kind of combat droid. And maybe Qingyu was the same, but that also begs the question, why does Billy look so robotic, whereas Qingyu has a more human appearance? What if the people that made the models for Qingyu, or anyone that's also coinciding with that, and the people that made the Billy-style robots, were two sides of a war? Or at the very least, two separate manufacturers that were mass-producing these droids to help with the war efforts. At least that's my theory. That is what I personally think happened. Because the only thing we do know is that her and Billy have their own sentience, but they are fully inorganic entities. They are entirely robotic in the sense. Yet she is effectively a supercomputer, and she has the personality of a person. Sure, she isn't as emotional as other characters, but she still has the capacity to show emotion and feel some emotion. She just sometimes has trouble conveying emotions. But as a whole, that is what I personally think that is my theory on. That the people that made the models that resulted in Qingyu, and the people that made the models that resulted in Billy, were either two sides of the war, or two separate manufacturers that had different methods but were fighting for the same side. If I had to lean towards one or the other, I'm going to go the more morbid route and say it was two separate sides of a war. Because at least then, it's going to have some more interesting hypotheticals and much more morbid ideas that would come to mind.